Hello, I'm John. I'm from UAL. So you just heard what UAL stands for. It stands for the University of the Arts London. We're the biggest university of arts in Europe. We're made up of 6 colleges, which includes CSM, which is Central St Martin's, Camberwell, London College of Fashion, London College of Communication, Wimbledon and Chelsea. So I'm here to talk about our implementation of Marval. It's a presentation in 2 parts. So the implementation bit comes first, and then the fun stuff comes later. So we do this, sort of make art where we are. We don't just do art, but we can do funky stuff with it. So that's moving from traditional fine art into whatever Rick did with that thing. So why did we choose Marval? Well, we, like everyone, probably at some point, your ITSM tool was so out of date that you couldn't even do anything with it. But you carried on using it, and then suddenly the market changed and everything started moving forward. So we originally started with a tool called Infra, which is now known as a Lemba, and we implemented that in 2008. It was customized, which is a horrible word for when you're talking about service management tools, and the guy that customized it left. So we did not touch our Infra installation ever. We didn't do any upgrades, we just had it from version 8, and that was it. So we started this project in 2013. We had a few hiccups. We had a project manager that was not a project manager, so he left. And then one of the other heads of service took over the project, and the project started moving forward. So like everything, you do your requirements, you start thinking about your processes, so you do your as-is, and then you want to do your 2Bs. And then we went out to tender in 2014, and basically ended up with two software companies at the presentations, and one of them was a Lemba, and the other one was Marval. I won't go into too much about Lemba, but it hadn't changed from the back end. So when you saw things at the back end, it was exactly the same as what we currently had with Infra. So we were impressed with Marval. It was a totally web-based application, and their presentation was fantastic. And who knows Don in this room? Don Page? Yeah. When he gives a presentation, I mean, it's fantastic. He's so sort of up there and really dynamic, so it's brilliant. Anyway, what we started with, we went simple. We basically started off with service requests and incident management. We were originally going to go for the full bang, everything. And that was a previous associate director that decided that. But I think the heads ganged up on him and said, we can't do that. We just literally cannot do it. So we went live in March 2015. The actual implementation of Marval was seamless. They came in, and within 27 days, we had a working model of Marval. So where are we now? So that's 2015, March 2015. We are now in July 2018, so we've had it for 3 and a bit years. And we decided that we were going to be slightly aggressive with what we were going to be doing. So we went live with our self-service portal. It does not look like that when it comes out the box. If you want to see what it looks like, see these 2 guys over here. So we have completely changed the way this looks. This is all done with CSS and completely stripping out everything that came out of the box and starting from the ground up. It's mobile friendly, built from you start with mobile and then you end up with the web browser. And all these images, this is our sort of service catalogue. We've kept it simple, and these images were all designed by ex-students of UAL. We then went in with problem management, which, in my idea, it's probably I understand problem management, but it's one of the hardest things to actually implement, because if you don't do it right, it's just going to cause major, major issues. So that's gone in. We've now reviewed this, and we're working towards honing our problem management process within Marval. Change management. We do have CAB, and it was very basic CAB when we had Infra, but we decided that within Marval, what we wanted to do was actually combine every bit of change management. So where you've got the actual initial request for change coming in, and then you've got the release and deploy, all those modules, we actually pulled all them together into one single process, which makes life a hell of a lot easier. Otherwise, you're not logging loads of requests for one change. We've implemented our surveys and customer satisfaction level, which has proven okay. It's trying to get the users to actually answer the surveys or leave you satisfaction is another kettle of fish. So there's a big drive at the moment with our customer satisfaction program, which we're working on at the moment. So what's next? Well, when this presentation was built, we hadn't done this, but I'll tell you what we did. So we re-released My Support. As you can see, we've now got other help desks involved. So we've got digital learning support. Probably you might understand that as e-learning support, like VLE stuff. And we've got IT services. We've got finance help desk going live at the back end of July. And we've got HR, web support, and academic registry going live as well. So it's just an example that basically every service desk or help desk is color-coded, so the user can actually understand where they are. And these correspond to their notification templates that are sent out from the system as well. Next, we're going to be doing event management. And there's the shared service that we've got currently at the moment. Notice estates is missing. They are the hardest people to talk to and to try and get them on board with this. Our problem is that we've got a service contract with a company called Boyds, and the States basically, they've got their own service desk, and we don't really want to link the two up together. So how does my team, which is the engagement team, fit into all of this? So first off, you hire a good team. Easier than said. I started off with a team of 3. Eventually people leave and stuff like that. So we've been hiring over the last sort of 18 months. So you start with hiring a good team to get the people in. You start building partnerships with other departments and other sections of IT. You develop the visual identity, so you've seen the self-service portal. That goes also against any publicity and any sort of posters or any other styling that needs to be done from within the IT department. You create a strategy, which is quite good sometimes, and then you get that. So this is was my team. Unfortunately, I now only have the guys left. All the girls have gone on to better things. So, but you can see now that it's split between a design and a content team. Two very different things, but they work very closely with each other. Things that we do. Yeah, we do follow Whittle. We do video animation and we do UX. I don't know why we're in balloons. I couldn't work that one out when I asked Rick why that was. Building partnerships. This is where my team and other teams in IT and senior management will go out to the business, to the colleges, and work with them to actually improve the service that IT offers. So this is us. That's the service desk. We work with projects, we work with the infrastructure team, and we work with the security teams within IT. And these are all on, so we've got internal comms. It's a very important thing to be working with your internal comms team. Who has not got an internal comms team at their university? Lucky you. Yes, it is important to work with them. Finance, we work with them very closely because obviously we work with them for their ABW, which is Aggresso. Also, they're now using Marval, so the interaction between IT and finance is managed through Marval. The UX side we work with the web support team, the digital team on that. HR are in Marval, so this is now escalating calls between IT and HR. And we work with the libraries as well. Now, Berkeley, sitting over there, in February 2016, we started our SDI journey. And first assessment, we got 1.89, so we were not certified at all. In 2017, we did another audit, and then we got proactive service desk. So we scored a good score, but it was on the old version of the service desk accreditation. In 2018, Berkeley came in, and we were doing version 7, which is very different. It's much more involved. There's a lot more that you need to understand, and you need to be reporting on and having evidence and all that. So we had, was it 2 days, Berkeley? 2 days in February. We thought we were doing okay. We thought, yeah, I think we've got there. I think we're doing it. I actually wrote down a score before I went in to see Berkeley, and I wrote down 3.04. So we went down, we all sat there, Berkeley was giving us our feedback and everything like that, and then the magic score appeared, and it was 3.07. So we had improved under going from version 6 to version 7 by quite a lot, and we missed out customer-led by 0.3. And I think we'll be the first institution to improve on version 7. I think we were, because I remember Paul from Service Desk telling us that. But it was a good thing, and this really helps you as an IT department to focus on what you need to be doing. I think a lot of people get very bogged down in processes and sort of ITIL and stuff like that, but there's so much more to it that you need to take into account. And some of that is having a team like my team that supports the whole department, as well as working with other departments across the university. So that was great. So that's me finished now. So any questions?
Give a round of applause. We've got our Michael and Andy prepared to start jogging to the back of the room. If you need to, so please, if I can have questions, please. I'll make it as difficult as possible. Oh, we've got Sarah at the back of the room first. Sally, we'll come back to you. I want you to run.
Good exercise, Andy.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Having met some of your fantastic team and worked with them on a project recently, what's your number one tip for building a good team?
There's two things really. We're fortunate to have an internal agency called Arts Temps, which basically allows you to employ ex-students and current students. So I'm a big believer in sort of employing ex-students and giving them a chance, because they know the university, they know what it's been like to study there, they know the shortfalls, they know the good things, and they bring a wealth of talent as well. So that's one thing. When you're employing from the outside, it's best, if you're talking about what we do as a team, which is design and CSS and UX and stuff, it's best to sort of make sure that you don't go out to the normal sort of like Hayes and stuff like that. You actually go to proper design agencies and get them to help you to do it, because we did that, and it actually, the wealth of talent that came through was amazing. And if you all know Rick Lacote, who was the guy on just after me, he's been around. He's worked with Brian Adams, Dire Straits, Mercury Records. He's even got his own Wikipedia page. So I would look him up if I was you, and you can't have him. But yeah, no, I would say that they're the two main things. It's like if you go out to the big wide world, you're just going to get anyone just applying for it. And I think if you go to the talent agencies, that's the place where you need to get the stuff from.
Oh, it's already there.
Hi John, thank you.
Hello.
Really interesting, having just recently gone through something quite similar. I usually find that service desk and support services really got on board with these kind of projects and adapt to a new ITSM tool quite quickly, and are usually quite positive. But when it comes outside of the sort of support services, we know that it can be a bit more challenging. So I'm just wondering if you did any work around sort of adoption and engagement within the wider department, and did it work?
I did 18 months of it,
Right.
going around talking to them and actually having to explain to them what service management was all about. It's some of the departments we worked with were very quick on the uptake and some were not. So we did a lot of workshops with them where we would go in and start talking about what their services were, what their classifications were. Did they log incidents? Did they only log service requests? Did they log both? Them not understanding what the difference of an incident and a service request was very hard to get across to some of them. So you put it into layman's terms. Incident, something's gone wrong. Service request, I need something. That seemed to work well. Some of them have been quicker on the uptake. Some of them, the feedback we've had from the majority of them is that it's improved their working life because they're no longer managing their calls through email. Calls are coming in automatically. They're being assigned to the correct teams. And they follow the workflow, and they've started to understand. And also the feedback that we've got from the customers, or the users, sorry, is when you look at the feedback coming in through Marval, is very, very positive. So it's been an experience. I would say that some of the teams that onboarded haven't fully engaged, and we've had one recently that has decided to go off on their own and deploy another service desk management tool, which is a bit strange, but we're going to try and negotiate with them to say, look, it's better if you're all in-house on this one. It costs less money, and it basically allows sort of collaboration work between the rest of the desks.
Fantastic. Is there any more questions? Oh, over here, please.
Hi, John. I'm
Hello.
Bonnie from the University of Kent, and I'm interested in the certification journey that you talked about. I feel like I'm really loud here. We're sort of at an early stage at looking at a kind of service excellence award, and I think we're doing a bit of discovery phase to see if it's something that we want to do. And I think I'm on the more skeptical side because I'm worried that we only have a small team and that it'll just get a life of its own and we'll be so focused on the award we won't get the day job done. And I just wonder if you could sell me a little bit more of the benefits that you found actually getting the certification and what it did for your service in general.
Well, my first bit of advice is if you're going to go down that route, start off with just an assessment first. Do the 2-day assessment before you even go down the route of looking at accreditation. Because there's no real work involved in that. They just come in and you set the meetings up and then they start asking you questions. So it's a mini cut-down version of the full accreditation. And that was invaluable for us because we saw that we had gaping holes. And I mean, when I say gaping, they were like the Atlantic. But out of that, then you start to form the project. And out of the project comes, it allows you to focus on stuff. So you can designate tasks to different teams or different individuals. It didn't get in the way of the BAU. To be honest, it didn't, because if your mindset is saying we need to improve, right, you've got to do that anyway. Otherwise, you're never going to improve. You're just going to stay stagnant where you are. So when we actually did the first assessment, which is 4 days, I think, the first one was 4 days, and it was a grueling exercise. It really was. So it takes time away from, like, obviously your day job, but what you get out of it at the end is a brilliant report that tells you bit by bit what you're doing well and what you need to do to improve. Okay? And then from that you can build a project plan. I think when we did the second assessment, when we actually got accredited for the first time, we'd already started building on this, so the momentum had kicked in, and it just became second nature. And I think then the second, when we did the surveillance audit 1, when Barclay came in, you could see that the work we'd been doing to improve, which was not just for the SDI, it was for the university and the department as a whole. So now we've got less to do, but we've got to carry on improving what we are good at and keep that momentum going, but we've got less to actually work on now to increase our score. So the beginning of it takes time, but as you go along, basically it becomes easier and easier and easier. But you've got to keep it up, because if you decide to not invite the SDI back, then you lose it. And that's a waste of money and time and effort.